when you start these journeys, you never know where you're going to end up. And this is like the final leg. As you know, I'm walking 196 miles across Tennessee. According to my Apple Watch, I'm at 194.1. But as you know, I've been across this state a lot, not just past months, but the past years. And just it comes to the end of this campaign. You start reminiscing about all the people you've met across the way. And I've met some of you. I know some of you for a long time. You've seen me out here for a long time. But what's so exciting is the people that have come up to me in the final days of this campaign, who I do not know, who I don't recall ever meeting, who said that this campaign has inspired them. Yeah. It's meant something to them and their families. We were in Cleveland for the Halloween festival on Friday night, and this woman screamed out to me across the way, "Keep walking, Mr. Hale. We're going to make you our congressman." Yeah. In 48 hours, the people of Tennessee are going to make me their congressman. We're going to win this election. We're going to win this election. And I want to tell you why. For a decade, Congressman Desjardins has not done the work to be our congressman. Those scandals, which I've talked about again and again, the scandal is not the scandals. The scandal is how he responded to the scandals. It caused him to go into hiding and to say, I'm going to close up inside of myself and pray to God that being a Republican enough will get me elected year after year after year. But what we have not done as Democrats, I think, is we have not gone after those Republican voters and said, you have a better option. And I want to make very clear tonight here in Bedford County, I am Republicans' best choice in this election. I am their best choice in this election because I'll fight for them and their families. And my opponent will not. Out there at the rec center last night, maybe you all saw us, we passed candy out to, I think over 1,000 kids came to the rec center last night in Shelbyville, right here in this community. And time after time again, I told every one of them I wanted their vote because I would fight for their kids. The people of Shelbyville have never met Scott Desjardins. They do not know him. They do not know him, but more importantly, he doesn't know them. He doesn't know their joys and their hopes, their suffering and anxieties. He doesn't know their kids' names. He doesn't know what keeps them up at night. He doesn't know what is the things that cause them to lose sleep. I do. I know this community. I put the work in with my shoes and my feet and my heart and my mind to know this community. And I say this with humility, particularly to every Republican in Bedford County. No one has worked harder ever to earn your vote. And no one will work harder to confirm your choice next year when I'm your United States Congressman. So I have 48 hours left and people are asking, what do you need? I can tell you exactly what I need in these final 48 hours. I need 3 things. First thing is we have over 6,000 donors. Every dollar we get, it's dollar in, dollar out right now. We put that towards GOTV. My campaign has made over 820,000 contacts with Tennessee voters. Think about that for a second. 820,000 contacts with Tennessee voters. Every voter in this state, in this community, has heard from my campaign more than once. More than once. The vast majority of that outreach is to non-Democrats. It's the folks that are more skeptical about Chris Hale. But what we need in the final day, I have over 6,000 donors, is every dollar you give me is matched dollar for dollar, and it goes out the door to help us on our GOTV. It allows me to make more phone calls. It allows me to do more door knocks. It allows me to get more literature out there, more ads out there. So I'm asking humbly. There's over 6,000 donors to this campaign. Actually, almost 7,000 donors at this point to the campaign. Every state in the country. I have over 140 people who have contributed from right here in Bedford County. Did you know there's 140 people that would give to a campaign in Bedford County, to a Democrat in Bedford County? So I need you to give today. You can take a cash or check. You can go online, but know this, that every dollar you give today is matched. So every dollar you give today is matched. When you give me $25, that gives me the ability to do outreach to 60 voters. It costs about 87 cents, 47 cents. So every dollar is matched, and it'll help me win this election. So I'm asking on Lord's Day here outside the church, will someone raise their hand as an altar call and say that they'll give to this campaign one final time?
Oh, I will.
Yes, thank you.
But my car is down there, so you're going to hang around
Oh, yes. Trust me, my campaign manager would kill me if I did not hang around for cash or checks. Second thing I need from you, and thank you so much. And for those listening to, go to ChristopherHale.com. It's not too late to give. I promise you, it will not go to feed us, but to feed this movement and win this election. Second thing I need from you is I got signs. Thank God I have signs. And we have folks putting signs up, I think, at polling locations. You've all done that. But there's also folks that like want signs in their communities and know where to put these so people see them. Bedford County's turnout's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's better than it has been. But let me tell you the truth. My strongest county is right up the road in Rutherford County. Rutherford County has more voters today, already before election day, than they had in all of 2016 combined and 2018. But here's what we know about the last people that vote. The last people that show up to the polls are those who are most persuadable. They're not the partisans, right? They're the folks who wait to the last minute and make a choice at the election box. And those are the folks we can win over. And I want to tell you why these signs matter very quickly. There's a guy named Jeremy who lives in Spring Hill up in Murray County. And he saw one of those Hell Yes signs this summer outside he works at GM. He saw it outside his work and he loved it. So he Googled me, thought it was funny. He liked what I stood for and said, I'm voting for Chris Hale. I like this. And then he goes to church 3 weeks later. He's an evangelical. He goes to church 3 weeks later down in Columbia where he goes to church. And he found out the worst news of the summer. Chris Hale's a Democrat. But this is really important. We've done polling, and so we know 30% of this electorate, voters in this community, do not know who their congressman is. Can you imagine after a decade? Jeremy's 43 years old. He's been voting for 25 years. And for 10 years, Congressman Desjardins has been his congressman. But he asked himself at that moment, who is my congressman? Jeremy at church. Jeremy who's a proud Christian. Jeremy who's pro-life. Jeremy who's pro-family. Jeremy who's faithful to his wife and his kids. For the first time in his life, Googled, who is my congressman? And what happened when Jeremy Googled Scott Desjardins? Jeremy has never, ever, ever voted for a Democrat in his life. He voted for Chris Hale to be his United States congressman. These signs give a chance for people to look me up for the first time and to compare me to my opponent. And I promise you, even when Republicans compare Chris Hale to Scott Desjardins, we win this election. If we make it about Hale versus Desjardins, we will win this election. And those signs give me a fighting chance. So I got signs that distribute all across Bedford County. Would you be willing to take a few and put them where you need? We have Hell Yes signs. We have some green Hell Yes signs for those who think marijuana legalization is important to them. I have libertarians for Hale signs. There is a libertarian home right here who took 3 libertarian for Hale signs up the road. So we have, if you know Trump voters who want Hale signs, we got Trump for Hale. We want everyone who is not a traditional rank and file Democrat to feel welcome in this campaign, and we have the resources to do it. So will you all take some signs today and put them in this community? Thank you. And here's the final one. This is the hardest one I find. I need Republicans. It's the matter of reality. If every Democrat in the 4th congressional district voted for me and every Republican voted for Scott Desjardins, do you know how much I would lose by? 40 points. Hillary Clinton lost by 41 points. I have to win a third of my voters on election night. When I have my election night party, my victory party, which you should come to in Murfreesboro, about a third of those people are going to be Trump supporters. That's how we win. We've got to get Republicans into the fold. Both Republicans who are done with Donald Trump and Republicans who are still with Trump. We need them all. So I'm asking you today to pitch to your Republican friends and neighbors. They're not going to vote for Joe Biden. That's okay. I wish they would. They're not going to vote for a lot of Democrats. They might vote for one. Because a lot of the conservatives in this state want to maintain their independence. They don't necessarily like the Republican Party. They don't like the Democrats either. But they'll vote for one Democrat. I'm the one Democrat Bedford County Republicans should vote for. And here's the argument I want you to give to them. Look where we live. Look where we live. If they do not like me in 2 years, they will have plenty of options to get rid of me. And my, oh my, if you're a Republican in Tennessee, would you not love that 2022 GOP primary for the United States Congress? I'm sure Chad would run. I'm sure Marsh would run. It would be a bloodbath. There would be everyone in there. But every Republican with a checking account and an R next to their game would want to line up against Scott Desjardins or against Chris Hale, and they'd have the chance to choose a better congressman. Republicans don't like Scott Desjardins. Republicans can do better than Scott Desjardins. Look, I'll beat Pat Marsh, I'll beat Chad, I'll beat all of them, but I'll be honest with you, there are better choices for Republicans than Scott Desjardins. Okay? So tell your Republican friends, give this guy a shot. My allegiance at the end of the day is not to Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or AOC or Donald Trump. It's to Bedford County families. It's to you and each of you's families. And so I'm not asking for keys to kingdom. I'm asking for a 2-year lease on a seat the people of Tennessee own. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a fascist. I'm a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat who will fight for you and your families. So, will someone raise their hand and say, I'm willing to have 1 or 2 conversations with Republicans in my community or non-Democrats and get them to consider voting for Chris Hill? Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to
Yes, thank you. And finally, get those folks who would vote for me but wouldn't show up otherwise to the polls. There's people right here in Bedford County who only you can reach. This campaign, we're well funded and I've worked my butt off, but I'm only one man and we're only one campaign. There's folks that only you can talk to, that only you can persuade to get to the polls, that I have no resources to do, that you do. And a vote is a vote is a vote. So please get me those folks who might not show up otherwise, but because of the conversations you have to the polls, and we'll win this election. I hope you feel in your bones some excitement. I know Democrats like to get nervous. We're the bedwetters of the world. Stop wetting the bed and let's do some action. Let's get some phone calls. Let's turn our stress into action. Let's move our hope into feet. I have walked 196 miles across this state to prove that nothing will get in the way of me fighting for you and your families. In these last days, I'm simply asking you to do a few things for me. Give, to put out some signs, and to make some calls to help me win this election. And I promise you that I won't let you down. So thank you for having me, and let's walk. Thank y'all.